So the Denver Nuggets over the past couple of years have been viewed as one of the more up-and-coming young teams in the NBA that have a very bright future, but they really need that second guy to pair with Nikola Jokic if they want to take their championship aspirations and maybe potentially dynasty aspirations to the next level. And over the past 2 weeks in the bubble, there's been a particular player on this team that has shown the potential to be able to live up to those expectations, and it isn't Jamal Murray, it's Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. has been incredible for the Denver Nuggets, and even though I know Bol has played fairly well for the Denver Nuggets, I don't really want to talk about him too much because I think Michael Porter Jr. has the higher ceiling. And trust me, Bol's video will be coming soon, so stay tuned for that. But getting back to Michael Porter Jr., for those who did watch my draft reaction on this channel a couple of years ago during the 2018 NBA draft, you guys know that I wanted the Bulls to take Michael Porter Jr., and I was kind of sad when they passed on him to get Wendell Carter. Don't get me wrong, I like Wendell, he's a solid young player, but Michael Porter Jr., I saw the potential in him from high school, and even though he only played 3 games in Missouri, I thought he always had a very bright future ahead of him. He could shoot the 3 ball, take it to the paint. He can do all you want on a basketball court on the offensive side of the ball, other than, distribute and get boards in a major way, which he has worked on over the course of the past couple of games in the bubble. But in this video, we're going to talk about Michael Porter Jr.'s future and what the ceiling may be for him and how it could affect the Denver Nuggets moving forward. But before we get started with this video, if you are not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and that bell for post notifications. And if you enjoyed this video, drop a like so I can keep making fire content just like this. And let me know your opinions in the comment section. But without further ado, let's talk about some Michael Porter Jr. and the Denver Nuggets. Michael Porter Jr. was drafted with the 13th overall pick in the 2018 draft, and even though he did miss his entire rookie season, I do believe he did benefit somewhat from being in those locker rooms and just seeing the atmosphere of the NBA. We've seen how it can affect certain players such as Blake Griffin and Ben Simmons, to the point that when they come out and actually play in their real rookie seasons, they are just miles ahead of a lot of other rookies intellectually, and it's really just due to the fact that they were able to soak up a lot of knowledge just for 1 year, whether it's being at practices or just being in those locker rooms like I said earlier. But Michael Porter Jr. didn't really have the luxury that guys like Ben Simmons and Blake Griffin had to be able to be the leaders of their team, or at least have a strong enough impact to be considered one of the best rookies in their draft class, if not the best rookie, as those two captured Rookie of the Year honors. Michael Porter Jr. had to sit behind Paul Millsap in the backcourt, and not only did he miss a lot of games before he got to the point that he received heavy minutes, but he didn't receive heavy minutes until late December, early January, where in his first game that he received at least 20 minutes or more, he had 19 points and 6 rebounds, while shooting 80% from the field and did knock down a 3 as well, while also converting both of his free throw attempts. But finally, January came and Michael Porter Jr. received the keys to play a little bit more minutes than he was playing in the past originally, as in the 15 games that he played in January, he averaged 12 points as well as 7 rebounds, while shooting 52% from the field and 48% from behind the arc, as well as 81% from the free throw line. On the offensive side of the ball, he was everything that a lot of people advertised, and not only was he an efficient scorer that could get to his spots, but he had a very nice stroke from behind the 3-point line. But when it came to Mike Malone, the coach of the Denver Nuggets, he didn't really like the fact that Michael Porter wasn't strong on the boards, and defensively, Michael Porter wasn't that great whatsoever. So as a result, he was not only sent to the bench and didn't play a couple of games, but his minutes were up and down, as sometimes he would play 7 to 6 minutes, and in some games he would play 20 to 23 minutes. So as far as where Michael Porter was before the bubble, it was a very tough thing for him to find that rhythm and stride over the course of a season, because when you're in and out of the lineup, especially for a young player, it's tough to find that consistency, especially when you haven't even proven yourself in the NBA. It's one thing when you're a bench player and a role player and you've gone through your whole career with things like that, but for a young player that had a lot of hype and was projected to be the first overall pick when he was coming out of high school, it can be very detrimental to one's confidence, and I'm very happy for Michael Porter that he was able to get over that and has responded to the criticisms that his coach and many other critics have given him by just improving in his game. Now, though defensively he still isn't the greatest player in the world, offensively he has stepped up in major ways for the Denver Nuggets so far in the bubble. Because so far in Orlando, he has averaged 24 points and 9 rebounds, as well as 2 assists, while shooting 57% from the field, 46% from behind the arc on nearly 7 attempts a game, while also shooting 96% from the free throw line. Those kind of shooting splits are insane, and I know it's only a 6-game sample size. I'm not expecting it to last for the rest of his career, but it is still improvement nonetheless in his game that we all knew he could make. And even on the boards, outside of the first game of the bubble and the last game the Nuggets had against the Lakers, in which he received the least amount of minutes throughout the entire games that he's played in Orlando, he's had double-digit boards in each and every one of those games. So as far as the rebounding efforts that Mike Malone wanted out of him, it looks like he's fulfilled his side of the deal. And with playoff time arising, I really wonder if Mike Malone is going to give him heavy minutes the way that he's been playing him in the bubble. More than likely not, but I do think he can get around 15 to 20 minutes on a night-to-night basis. And if he keeps playing well, maybe he can up those averages to around 25 minutes a game, just depending on how the pieces around him also play. But when it comes down to where Michael Porter Jr. can end up in the future, because I know that's the reason y'all clicked on this video, and many people have talked about that, I think Michael Porter Jr. could actually be an All-NBA caliber player. Now, when I say that, I realize that I am making a pretty bold prediction, as I have said stuff like this in the past, where I talked about even Kyle Kuzma potentially being an All-NBA performer. Yes, it was that crazy in his rookie year. I saw a lot of things that I don't see anymore, but when it comes back down to Michael Porter Jr., to stay on topic, Michael Porter Jr. is so skilled offensively that I think he can be a 20 to 25 point per game scorer, and depending on how the Nuggets utilize him, who knows even how higher he can take that point per game average that I think he can reach in the future. And I know he does have his flaws. He's not a great playmaker, nor is he a great player on the defensive side of the ball, but we all do need to realize that he is a rookie. As crazy as it has been for him in the bubble, he's only in his first season and didn't even play a full 82 game year, as he missed some time, whether it was due to Mike Malone benching him or the season being suspended. So regardless, Michael Porter Jr. has an incredibly bright future, and I do think that as great as he is offensively, he does need to step up on the defensive side of the ball. You can't be giving minimal effort and expect to get maximum minutes. It just doesn't work that way. And as far as the Denver Nuggets go, I definitely think he can be a huge boost to the future of that organization, as they already have a whole bunch of young talent on that roster, such as obviously Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Gary Harris, Jeremy Grant, as well as Monte Morris. You could throw him in there. And though they did let Malik Beasley go at the trade deadline, he wasn't playing particularly well for them because they were kind of staggering his minutes. I don't know if they were doing that on purpose because he didn't sign their extension. I mean, who knows? I'm kind of just speculating there. But I do want to warn Denver Nuggets fans to not get too eager about the future of their team, because don't get me wrong, it's not like they don't have a bright future, and there isn't potential that I see on that roster that could help them reach a championship or at least put them in future title contention. But I do want to caution them from being eager due to the fact that they're going to have to pay all these guys. Let's not forget that Jamal Murray signed a max contract last offseason. Nikola Jokic has a big deal. And then eventually when it's Michael Porter Jr.'s turn, they're going to have to pay him a lot of money. And if you think he's going to be a future superstar, or at least an All-NBA caliber player, or hell, even a perennial all-star at the least, then they're going to have to give him a bag. So I definitely wonder how they're going to pay all these guys. Let's not forget Gary Harris, Will Barton, Monte Morris. If they want to keep this little trend that they have of having 2 starting lineups essentially, then they're going to have to pay them. And keep in mind, I haven't even really talked about Bol, because that's another player that a lot of people think has superstar potential. And if he does, man, that's a lot of people you gotta pay, man. I'm just saying, there's a reason that the Sixers are going through what they're going through, and there's a reason the Oklahoma City Thunder lost a potential dynasty in 3 players that went on to win MVPs no longer a part of their organization. So I'm just saying, there's a lot of cautionary things that the Nuggets fans need to be worried about, because these are things that have happened and have affected other organizations in NBA history. And yes, it's all about the money. But that concludes this video, you guys. Let me know your opinions down below in the comment section. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, and also subscribe if you're new to the channel, and hit the bell for post notifications. Check out the links in my description box. Y'all stay safe and have a great day. Wash your hands and wear a mask. I'm out. Peace.